So then I'm like, wait,
Has it started? No.
Am I recording? And I'm looking, I'm like, the mic is moving. I'm like, no, that'll do it with when I'm recording.
Yeah, well.
Hey guys, it's me, Darcy, joined by the man that I like to call Aunt Chrissy, Walking Disaster,
Jesus Christ.
or, and I've thought about this one, the other name I call you often, Blue Boy. Yes, that's right, it is Kris.
This is the first time he's ever said Aunt Chrissy.
We want Chrissy all the time.
No, you fucking don't.
Yes, I do. Generally, when I'm making fun of you and the fact that you have nephews and nieces. Nephews, they call you that.
No, only one does.
Pretty much whenever
And it's only occasion.
No, pretty much whenever I want to make fun of you and someone's saying something and I'm just like, oh, you mean Aunt Chrissy? I actually use it a lot.
How have I not noticed it?
Yeah, I do. I just, like, someone will say, like, oh, Kris, and I'll be like, oh, wait, what are we talking about? It's like, oh, Kris. I'm like, oh, you mean Aunt Chrissy?
I don't remember this.
Just because I can. And welcome back to the Unnamed Podcast with me, Darcy, and him, Aunt Chrissy, as we talk rubbish for about an hour. We'll get things started with the week in review.
Yes.
My dogs are sick, which is terrible. So hoping that changes by next week. But apparently, according to the vet, that could take like 3 weeks for them to get over. And I'm like, ooh, I have spent so much time mopping today. It's not fun.
Yeah, I don't think it would be.
Don't understand why. Like, specifically the little one, when he threw up earlier, he was like literally. Kris is going for the reach. He was quite literally. Kris is going for craziness.
Just no.
He was outside.
Yep.
Now he didn't come inside. And I'm like, oh, I wonder what he's doing. And then I just hear, and I'm like, you were fucking outside. That I didn't have to clean. And no, he's come inside so he can, share the love. I mean, so that's
just to throw up.
That's my week. I'm back at the gym, which means everything hurts.
Which is a great combination for mopping all day.
Yeah, it is. Got to get those mopping muscles built. What about you, Kris? Still dying? Still? How's everything looking there?
Yeah, no, still dying.
Awesome.
Well,
that's how you join the club.
I know, right?
No, I say that as a joke mainly because I don't want Kris to die just yet. That's the joke part. Like, he has to wait until at least we're making money. It'd be nice if he could hold off dying until we're accomplished and we have other people working for us so that I don't have to make any new friends to do this with, because that would suck for me.
It would, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would. It'd be really inconvenient.
It would.
And then the side of that that's not a joke is that, come on, we're all dying.
It's true.
I was thinking about this earlier as well, because, that's what I do. I sit around and think weird things.
Yeah.
And I was just
not wrong.
I was just like sitting there and I'm like, oh my god, death is the goal of life.
I mean, on a technicality, yeah.
Well, think about it, right? 100 meter race. The goal is to run 100 meters.
Yes.
Right? So, the finish line is the end of the race.
Yes.
100 meters run, you get to the goal, it's finished, you're done. Life is exactly the same.
Yeah.
Except the finish line is death.
Yes.
And the distance is a lifetime.
Yes.
More specifically, your lifetime.
Exactly.
Because it's not someone else's life. No. It's weird, it's crazy, it's where my mind went as I'm sitting there mopping up dog sick. I'm just like...
It's the best place for your mind to go at that time.
Yeah, I was kind of like...
Fucking damn it, turn that shit down.
Yeah, but then you put it on something that vibrates. They call him Mr. Popular. Is it Nick? Looks like Nick.
Yeah, it was Jordan.
Oh, fuck him, right? His weird walk.
Does have a weird walk.
Is he saying I can't wait for a snow trip in September?
He just saying you hope. No.
It's got a delivery.
I mean, it's a possibility. I'm not sure on that one.
Are you at home? No. Okay. Well, the thing is,
I'm just waiting on my delivery.
The house is about to explode. Oh yeah, your new mouse. Yes.
I wonder if that's made any improvements.
Probably not. But yeah, no. So, mopping up dog sick. I was just like, wow, that's really morbid.
It is. It's very morbid.
And I was like, it's not wrong though, is it?
Oh, it's in town.
Oh.
It's in town. I'll probably
Sweet.
Get it tomorrow or Friday.
Incorrect. You will be getting it next week.
Well, actually, no. If it goes
because
by the
of
date.
the postal service.
But if it goes by its date, yes, next Thursday.
Yes. Oh yeah, we got it. We could have delivered it to you today. We did. Well, why not? Well, you weren't expecting it till next week, so we thought we'd hold it off. You know, save ourselves a little bit of work.
Yeah.
No. Oh, hey,
But hopefully tomorrow.
As I said, it's generally pretty funny because Amazon, whenever I order something from Amazon, it's like 2 weeks, and they just say that so that you don't get your hopes up.
It's
But then it's like 2 days later, you're like, my parcel, and you're sitting there going,
Yay.
I wasn't expecting this for 2 weeks.
Whereas mine's going to be more like, hey, it arrived, and now I've got to go pick it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Either that, or they'll just toss it over into the backyard. Darcy will get it, rip it to pieces. You know how he is. Then you'll get home and there'll just be like a tennis ball and a mouse in his mouth.
Yeah, that'd be rough. I'd have to spend more money.
I think you look if one,
Maybe I could have a chat with Jordan.
if the postal worker was to throw it over the fence into a dog yard, I'm pretty sure that you can they'll cover the costs.
Yeah,
because that's pretty fucked up.
Yeah, true.
It's not something we should be doing.
No.
Yeah, no, that's crazy. I love it though.
It's either that or they're going to put it out. It's like, oh, the sun's out. Then it'll start pissing down rain.
Oh, that's fine.
And it'll be out in the rain.
Yeah, but it's in a... You got the same house as me. It's in a plastic box inside a cardboard box. That will then be probably surrounded by bubble wrap inside another cardboard box. I mean,
Okay, fair.
you know, that's a lot of stuff to get through.
I mean, if it's pissing down, though.
Mind you, it could be a cyclone and just gets sucked up. And
Well, yeah, that'd be an issue.
that'd be pretty funny though.
No, mouse.
Did your mouse come? Got sucked up in the cyclone. Oh, what else was damaged? No, nothing. Just that.
It's the only thing.
Dude,
Someone-
that was like yeah.
Someone over town has a new mouse.
Yeah. Someone out at sea has a new mouse. I was like when the first cyclone that I ever had here, and the only cyclone that I've ever. I might have been through 2 cyclones.
I've only been through one.
Well,
What year did you get here?
many years ago, but I was here during the 2013 cyclone,
So was I.
and that's the one I want to talk about. But the other one I just realised I may have been through was
It's in
Mackay.
2013. 15.
Was 2015?
Yeah.
No, it was 2014.
Look, we were both initially wrong, if that's the case, but we got there in the end. I knew I was out
Always middle
of.
ground.
I was out of school, so I wasn't 13.
Yeah, no, I know it was 14 going in because it was my second year of uni. Because I was really, it was the one time I was really looking forward to getting back from summer break.
Yeah.
Because we'd been without power for about a week and a half here, and I was like, internet. I just
Yes.
can't wait to have internet.
Fuck yeah.
But yeah, no, the other one was, I'm pretty sure, and I might be mistaken, but I'm pretty sure a cyclone hit Mackay. And because my older sister was up there studying, so this would have been about 2010, 2000...
Okay, I was here then. That's.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, I was going to
around
say,
that
because I've
2010
lived
mark.
most of my life at Mackay or here, and never
Actually,
got one.
20, it might have been 2009 even.
Could have
Anyway,
been.
years ago,
Yes.
like over a decade ago now.
Yeah.
But yes, my sister was up in Mackay studying, and there was like the cyclone's going to hit, so we went up to help her get ready for the first cyclone she was going to be through,
Okay.
which meant that we were there for a cyclone. It wasn't our property though, so you know
No.
we were staying in a hotel, so it was like, it should be right.
Yeah, it's fine.
But yeah, so when the cyclone hit here, it was really funny because, like, obviously, you've seen my house, but one thing was damaged.
Yep.
The window right back through there, that's like in that thing undercover. Yeah, that window got broken. That was the only window that got broken.
Okay.
You're questioning that, aren't you?
Yeah, a little bit.
Something got thrown through it.
Yeah, I'm aware something got thrown through it, but isn't there usually cars there?
Yes, there was cars there. It kind of, it was, I don't remember what it was, but it was something that had been like tied down, so, and then it had just kind of flung off and like swung in under the...
Okay, yeah, that makes a bit more sense.
And we heard it break, and we were just like, fuck? And then we looked and we were like, how is that the fucking window? That window's fully protected. But then, of course, you know, it was shocking because that was like my first cyclone, right? So I'm like just chilling in this room because this is the room that is the most closed off with a book and just being like,
yeah,
and like the winds are like, and you're just like, next page, and then you have no power.
Yeah, I was on my laptop watching something.
Nice.
I got through about 4 episodes.
But
Died.
Oh, dude, we had like 4 generators here. And then our neighbour...
Fuck, why didn't I start hanging out with you sooner?
And then our neighbour just, like literally the next house over, got his power back like a week before us. Because we're on different lines.
Yeah.
So their line got fixed and he was just like, oh yeah, you can just run a power extender to my house and you can just use some of my power. And we're just like, you're a fucking legend, Selwyn.
Fuck yeah.
And so then the generators went from running like the fridges and stuff to charging, mainly charging all the electronics we wanted to use.
It's fair though, not use all of his power.
Yeah, or that, and you know, save yourself some fuel costs because you could go like, okay, we're going to run the generator for like 3 hours now. We're going to run one of the generators for 3 hours now. So anything you want charged, charge it now. It's like, but yeah,
Makes sense.
that was a rough time, mainly
Yeah.
because of no internet and no power.
I had to use my car to charge my phone.
I think I played a lot of board games that week and like read 7 book series because within like the first day I'm like, well, we're probably going to be without power for today, so I pulled out a book series, started reading, and it's like by the end of that day I was like, okay, so I finished that book series.
Okay. Solid amount of reading.
I'm a fast reader.
Yes.
I just rarely do it if there's something else that I can do to distract me. It's like that whole thing about distractions, right?
Yeah.
You know, it's like reading a book. If there's other things happening, I'm super easily distracted. But
True.
it was just funny because Dad was also working that day. So like when the eye blew over,
Yeah.
like the fire truck just rolled off and it's like, okay, what's going on? And we was like, oh yeah, one of the windows broken. It's like, fuck. But so all the fireys were here, we were just having a chat, and then like trees are broken down and shit out across the street, and then all these kids are fucking running around playing in it.
Yep.
Like, and we're just like, I'm like, okay, I know this is my first cyclone, right?
Yeah.
Second technically, but I'm like, and I know that I'm in my 20s.
Yes.
Yes. Just making sure the math's added up there.
It should have.
I think I just turned 20.
I was just about to turn 19.
Yeah, no, I think like when I say I just turned 20, I'd be 20 for about 3 days when it hit.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
94, yeah. Yeah, 94. So anyway, that happened, and we're just like sitting there watching these like fucking kids run and play, and like through all the broken down trees and shit. I'm just like, yeah, first of all, we know this is the eye of the cyclone. Like, we can see the clouds coming the other side, and the fire truck's like, yeah, okay, we gotta get back. You know, we gotta get back and lock back down. And we're like, okay, yeah, thanks. So we just, you know, honestly, it was just so Dad could come and like check the damage and make sure that it wasn't going to be a threat to anything else. And so, so then they took off, and they're like blasting the kids with the sirens, just being like, get the fucking go home. Go the fuck home.
Yep.
And the kids are just like, yeah, and we're like, I'm like, for people who have lived in Rockhampton their whole life, like adults who have children who are like 6 and 7, I'm like, surely they understand that how cyclones work.
You'd think so.
Surely they understand that, like, okay, the first part of wind hits you, then there's a big dead patch.
Yes.
When you're in the center of the storm.
Yep.
And then there's the other part that hits you.
Yes.
And surely they wouldn't just be like, okay, go play in the storm damage, kids. Like, surely that's just not where your mind goes. Like, even once the entire cyclone's passed over, and you don't have like a Tracy incident.
Yes.
You know that one?
I'm vaguely forgetting it.
Okay, I'll explain that in a second. But surely even once the storm's passed over, you go to your kids when they go, can we go out on the streets and play? Idiots. A cyclone's just come through. Things are destroyed. Power lines are laying everywhere.
Yep.
No! Stay inside and read a book or something.
Yeah, but we know they don't have books.
Stay inside and beat your siblings up a bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I was just shocked. But yeah, no. Okay, the Tracy thing. Cyclone Tracy, when it hit Darwin,
Yeah.
it was like the worst thing that could happen because it like came in, right? And you know how Darwin's in that big bay at the top.
That's
So
right.
it came in, hit Darwin, kept going, went back out to sea, picked up more power, bounced off the other side of the bay, hit again, and did that like a couple times. So they were hit by the same cyclone like multiple times.
That's right. I did forget about that.
That's why the NT has such strict cyclone rules, because they're like, yeah, no. Can it survive a cyclone? Yes. Can it survive being hit by the same cyclone multiple times?
No.
Does that happen? Yes.
It did.
It did, and it was a fucking big cyclone that did it too. Like, it's one of the funniest things, because I think when it actually hit Darwin the first time, and I could be wrong, because it's been, like, probably almost close to 20 years since I was learning all this stuff.
Yeah, sounds about
Since,
right.
like, the last time I was in Darwin. So, yeah, it, like, came in, and it was weak as piss when it came in. Like,
Yeah.
I say weak as piss. It was like a low-level cyclone. They were like, it's a cyclone, but it's only low-level, everyone should be fine. And then it was like, and then it went back out to sea, and it like became like a level 5 or something. Just like picked up all this power, and they're like, okay, so it's coming back, and it's going to hit us like 5 times harder than we thought it was. Yeah. Either that, and like, I think that's what I know, but the other one is that it came in at level 5, because it came up a bit higher up the coast, slowed down a bit when it got to Darwin, then went out and kept coming. It kept getting back to like level 5 before it came back in. Either way, not a good place to be, especially at the time when Darwin was like mostly tin sheds.
Yep. Yeah, no, it was.
Yeah,
That was a rough one.
well, it wasn't, but yeah, it was, but it wasn't. Like, they weren't just tin sheds; they were just old school Australian houses. But yeah.
Yeah, but they tend to last a bit.
They do actually.
They
like, I saw some of the damage from the recent ones that like hit Mackay and Airlie Beach, and you're just like whole houses missing their roofs and shit like that, and just like
They're all the newer houses. And you look
you're
at
you're sitting there looking at an old house and you're looking at the new house next to it. The new house is like torn to pieces. The old house is just like, yeah, we're good. And you're just like,
so I got a
how
broken
did we
window.
how did we forget that? How did we forget how to do that? And now we have this. Oh yeah, we don't have a roof on our house anymore. What about you guys? Yeah, a bit of rain came through a window. It was a bit upsetting. Other than that, everything's fine.
Yeah.
It's like,
Oh, sweet. Fuck.
well played.
Yeah, they
Although I
don't.
fucking would hate a cyclone now, because like now we've got like the solar panels and the fucking hot water system all up on the roof. It's all just solar panels, but you know,
Yeah.
it's just kind of like solar panels are just giant fucking things to be ripped off by a cyclone.
Oh, it is, and I'll take the roof with it.
Yeah.
That's,
It's a tile roof, so that's, you know, it
Oh,
only
it's right,
takes
it is
certain
too.
sections.
I forgot about that. But that's still going to cause enough damage to be a pain in the ass.
Yeah, I know. Tell me about it. I think when the cyclone hit us, because I was still at university when this happened.
Yeah.
Took them 12 months for the insurance and stuff to finally be like, okay, we're fixing, because it like lifted some of the tiles. Like, not even pulled them off, just lifted them enough that it had broken the water pump, the seal.
Yeah.
Like the seal that they make. Water had gone through, soaked all of upstairs roof, and the roof was like bubbling and shit like that.
Yeah.
And so I'm sitting there and I go off to university for 12 months, right?
Yeah.
I come back halfway through the year for my winter month,
Mm-hmm.
and the roof's still not fixed. And I was like, okay. And Mum and Dad are still going through all the stuff, and I was like, okay, well, hopefully it'll be fixed when I get home, so I don't have to worry about any of that shit. Go off, come back at the end of the year. Nope, still not fixed. Start of the next year, like almost 12 months exactly. They're like, okay, yeah, we're going to fix it. Yep. So then we spent like a week getting everything ready, like moving everything from upstairs downstairs,
Yeah.
because they were ripping out the entire ceiling upstairs, redoing everything. And we spent like 4 weeks living in this fucking hotel on the riverbank.
Okay, yep.
And don't get me wrong, when I say hotel, people obviously think of what you see when you see people. It's like a whole family in like one little room. No, we had like a whole fucking house, apartment thing.
Yeah,
It
I
was very
figured as
nice.
much.
And at the time, because we didn't have air cons in our rooms, having air cons in your rooms during the warmest months of the year was great.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
And I put like the Xbox and the PlayStation in the room I was staying in, which was hilarious for me because the way insurance companies work. They were like, okay, so you have 3 kids, and they're like, yeah, but they're like, okay, what's the split? And it's like, oh, we have 2 girls and a boy, and they're like, okay, so that's bedroom for your mum and dad, bedroom for the 2 girls, and a bedroom for the boy. I was just like, bedroom to myself. So the sisters had, like, I think they both had like single king beds, and I just had like a full double king bed. And I'm just like, yes, life is good.
This is great.
Yeah, so that was that, and fuck, it was nice. It was like a all expenses paid holiday. And then you come back and you're like, oh fuck, now everything. You know, you open your cupboard and there's like so much fucking plaster dust in there and shit. And you're just like, fuck. Okay, but yeah, so it took 12 months for that to happen. I was like, fuck, that's annoying. I'm like, could you imagine having like actual real damage that you could not live in the house with, and then being like, oh yeah, we'll get around to it. Yeah, we're getting around to it.
Yeah, it'll happen eventually.
12 months later, okay, so we're going to fix the roof, and it's like,
yeah. Whereas all we had was the house moved and we couldn't close one of the windows. Oh, sorry, no, one window broke.
oh, that'll happen.
Yeah, that was it.
And windows, man, they break.
They do.
No, but
they do, especially when they're
actually, that was like one of the funny things about like one of my mates in high school. He had this like brick wall at the back of his house, right? And, like, this hasn't got anything to do with the Cyclone. This has just got to do with the fact that one day he was telling me the story about how he was going downstairs to play ping pong because that's where he had kept his ping pong table under the house.
Makes sense.
And so he's going down to play ping pong, and he like stopped and leaned against the wall, and he's like, I felt it move, and he goes, and then I looked, and he'd actually like bent the wall, like this brick wall, and just gone, and he was like, and him being like 15 is just like, I'm not going to tell anyone about that. I won't get in trouble. So he just walked away from it. And like a year later, I think what was at his place, one of his parents was like talking about it. It's like, yeah, the brick wall downstairs just moved. We don't know how it happened, but I'm just like looking at Jacob, I'm like, well, you didn't tell him? He's like, no.
Shut up.
He's like, I think it'd be really good if we went elsewhere now. But yeah, no, fuck. It was like one of the funniest stories because he's just like, yeah, I leaned against this brick wall and it moved, and I was like, wait, that shouldn't happen. He's like, yeah. Like, so what did your parents say? Yeah. Didn't tell them.
Yeah, no.
It's like you and Jordan. Oh, I did this thing at Jordan's place. Oh, what did Jordan say? I haven't told him. I'm not going to.
I don't think I've done that.
Oh, if he doesn't find out for himself, he doesn't need to know. It's actually a very good, it's a very good mentality to have, because it sounds bad, right?
It does.
Don't tell them, because if they don't notice. But in reality, it's like, Kris, I have some terrible news for you. Sit down. And they tell you, you're like, oh God, that's terrible. And now you know about it. Whereas if I didn't tell you, it's like, you could go your whole life never knowing that terrible news.
It's true.
It's like the Putin story.
Yeah.
If I never told you that good news, you could have gone your whole life not knowing that good news.
That's true.
But I did share it with you. And it's just like the same with bad news, you know, it's just the opposite. If you don't have to share the bad news, don't bring someone else down because you're feeling angry or sad or you're just in a bad mood. Keep the bad news to yourself. Be cool.
Pretty much.
And if they come up and be like, hey, did you know about this? And you're like, yeah, I found out about that like 3 years ago. And they go, why didn't you tell me? You go, well, I tried to save you the heartache.
Oh. I don't think I to deal with it anyway, so I suppose it depends on what it is.
Well, it's like all the parents that tell their kids that their pets have just gone to a farm.
Yeah, that's different.
It's bad news.
I mean, it's bad news,
And they put it off, because you know the kid's going to find out about it eventually, because they're going to hit a point one day when they realise, wait, things die.
Yeah, but...
And my old dog that went off to live on a farm. Oh my God, my parents lied to me. He didn't go live on a farm. He did.
It's true, yes, but...
So you know that one's coming.
You know that one's coming, yes, but then there's another side to that. So they're not going to have the same reaction when they find out. It's like, oh, they died. Oh.
Replace
That's
dog with
disappointing. Okay, that one's a different one.
But again, kids won't understand. You can't be like, oh yeah, grandma dead. And they're like, what does that mean? It's like, grandma's going to a farm. Like Skipper.
Oh man, that's a rough one.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's...
I was watching something the other day.
Yep.
I can't remember what it was. But just a line a line that whatever, like, someone in it said, which was something like, "Oh God, that's going to cost me in the future," because it was pretty much they fucked up their kid, and it was just like they did something, and their kid was just like, "Oh," and they're like, "Oh God, that's going to cost me in the future," and I'm just like, modern parenting. When you realize you fucked up your kid, you're like, "Oh, the therapy bills."
Yep.
I love it. I do love it. I like all that kind of shit because it's just hilarious to me.
Yeah, this makes sense though.
As someone without kids, I can imagine. I can just imagine like someone with kids.
Yeah.
And of course, with the other name that this podcast could have become, Parenting 101 and Guide.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that one.
Hit the market hard.
Yeah.
We could have been laying down some sweet advice for parents, like, don't be a dick, or your kid's probably going to be a serial killer.
Oh, yeah. We've said a few things about fucking... Wait, has it been on the podcast? About just making them go to bed?
Oh, no, never.
No, it's just been our song? Okay.
No, that was like literally us talking about...
It's been multiple times.
Well, yeah, but mainly it always starts off when it's like we're talking about daylight savings. And like someone's argument is, my kids go to bed when the sun goes down. It's like, are your kids animals? No. Well, then use a fucking clock.
Yeah, pretty much. We have these things. They're called clocks and alarms. Use them.
You know what uses the sun going down? My dogs. My dogs use the sun going down to be like, it's time for us to get fed. Like,
yeah.
Yes, it is. Or if it's like really dark, they're like, it's time for us to get fed. Like if it's a big storm, like it's like 4 o'clock in the afternoon, they're like, feed us. It's like, it's not feeding time for another 2 hours, and they're like, we don't give a fuck about your clock. We can't read it. We go off the sun.
It's true.
Because we're animals. You know what your kids shouldn't be doing?
Whereas I always
going off the sun.
Because
they can read a clock. Look at my watch. You can read that. You're good.
Whereas I always went off a clock as well because it was always like 8 o'clock. Sun was always fucking down. Didn't matter what time of year it was.
I was also saying, like, because like the truth is this, right? Sun here goes down what 7:30, 7:30ish. It's dark,
Yeah,
and it gets dark really quickly. Like
it does.
It'll be like 7 o'clock, and you're like, oh yeah, the sun's still up, and then it's like 10 past 7, and you're like, holy shit, everything's black.
Yes, the fuck happened.
Oh, where did all my light go? I was like, okay, so the sun goes down incredibly quickly. By 8 o'clock, a decent time to be sending even small children to bed.
Yes.
Because, let's be honest, you do not want to be sending your kids to bed at like 6 o'clock. Because children sleep for like 9 hours. So it's like, oh yeah, we're sending them to bed at 6 o'clock. When do they wake up? Oh, like 3 in the morning. Wake up us, wake up everyone. Yeah. Don't be doing that.
Don't be a dumbass.
Keep them awake a little bit further at night and just be like, okay, go to bed. And then they wake up at 7 in the morning, or 6 in the morning, or 7 in the morning. You probably don't want them up before 7 in the morning.
Fuck that.
As a child myself once, 7 in the morning is a good time. Also, winter's great. Winter's great.
Yeah.
Queenslanders don't know about it, but it's a really great time of year. When it's really cold and you wake up at like fucking 7:30 in the morning and you're like, I've got to go to school, but you're like, but my bed is so nice and warm. And you put your foot out from under the covers and go, no, that's pretty cold. And my parents haven't come to get me yet, so I can probably eke out a few more minutes of just lying here in the warmth.
Yeah.
I love it. It's great. I did the same thing when I was in college because I was down south again, so we had winter. Except I didn't have my parents anymore, so I was like, Rowan instead. Like, I could probably lie here and Rowan, it's 7 in the morning. Rowan doesn't come and get me till 8:30. Be like, get out of bed. Go to breakfast. And I'm like, yeah, I can lie here. And then you come in and be like, get out of bed. No, sorry, wake up. I am awake. Get out of bed. No. Go to breakfast. No. How long have you been awake for? Like an hour and a half. Why haven't you gone to breakfast? Warm.
It's a good reason.
You're an idiot. Yes. It's probably one of the funniest things. Like, Rowan and me went for it, like, because he was my tutor, he had to take me for this conversation once, and like, me and him were really good mates. And so, like, because he was just, doing his like thing of checking up. He's like, because the college had this thing. It's like, go check up on the younger guys if you're an older guy. It's like if you need to broach the conversation, you're not really sure how to start, and you want to get them out of college so that there's not other people listening in, take them for coffee. So I was like, come for a walk. We go to this coffee shop. He's like, do you drink coffee? I'm like, no. He's like, neither do I. So we sat there, and he's like, I think we'll get hot chocolates. I'm like,
fuck you.
No, it was a good chat, and the hot chocolate was actually decent.
That's good.
It wasn't necessary because it was quite warm, but
well, yeah.
But yeah, I just always found that funny because like
that's the thing about it.
Whenever I go back to Sydney and like catch up with the guys from college, I was like, hey, do you want to catch up over a coffee? Yeah, they're like, do you drink coffee? I'm like, no. And they're like, did you work in a cafe for like years? I'm like, yes. I'm like, and you never drank coffee? I hate the stuff. So what do you drink? I drink a cappuccino, thank you. I sit there and I drink it angrily.
Fucking hate this.
This is the worst thing ever.
It's like the funniest thing about people who don't drink coffee. It's like on a hot chocolate. It's like the middle of summer. Fuck off. It's too hot.
Dude.
Anyone who drinks coffee is like, yes, extra hot. It's like, fuck off. You're stupid.
Would you like a coffee? Yes, I'd like it extra hot. And then you make it for. As I said, I worked at a cafe for the longest time, and like people come in. Can I get an extra hot coffee? Yes, you can. Bang. As I said, the milk's about 65 degrees because that's what a hot coffee is. It's not boiling. No one wants to drink that. And then you give it to them, and you're like, I double cupped it because it's really hot, and it burnt my hand like 7 times when I was making you this extra hot coffee. And they're like, thank you. And they sit down, and they sit there with it for like 10 minutes, and you're like, motherfucker. You're an idiot. Motherfucker. You wanted it extra hot. Now you're letting it cool down so that you can drink it. Dumbass. I could have just made it for you that temperature. No. I want it extra hot. I want it extra hot. Burn your hand.
No, because I want to smell it for 10 minutes first. Then I'll drink.
Like, fuck me. Like, so the cafe had like the little, like, obviously you've seen them because they use the same thing at Bunnings. Little milk jugs with the little thermometer in it.
Yeah.
But I couldn't find a thermometer. The way I'd been taught was you just put your hand on the bottom, and like when it gets too hot to hold, that's a warm coffee. Like that's a good temperature coffee. Like you sit there and you go, if that's uncomfortable now, that's the temperature coffee should be. Right? Excellent. For extra hot, you like get to there and you're like, okay, just keep my hand there for a bit. Keep my hand there. Okay, yep, that's really hot now. Fuck.
Fucking no.
I'd just be doing that because like I'd be generally making coffees like as we're closing up, so it's like me, someone else, and we're doing all the cleaning. So it's like me and the cook generally. And like, so the cook's doing all their cook cleaning, and I'm sitting there doing all the stuff out the front. Someone comes in, like, can I get a coffee? It's like, we close in 10 minutes. And they're like, oh, have you shut down the coffee machine? I'm like, no. So I'm making a coffee. And I've just washed everything, so I don't want to get it all dirty and have to wash it again. So I'm just like, fuck it, and using my hand, and then I'm just like, and I'm like walking around with this bright fucking red hair. I'm just like, why is your hand so red? I'm like, because I didn't want to make any more dishes. I didn't want to do it, so I just used my hand. They're like, that's inefficient. I'm like, no, it's not. It's really smart, actually. It just sucks for me. Like, I have no more dishes to do because I'd finished all the dishes, and I was like, all the dishes are done. Sweet. I just have to vacuum, and we're good to go. And then someone comes in and goes, I want a coffee and a muffin. And you go, you're fucking joking. And you're like, okay, yeah, do you want that to go? No.
You pricks.
We close in 10 minutes.
You fucking asshole.
Yeah, that's so good, that's so good. Like,
no, it's not. Get the fuck out.
You're sitting there, and because, like, cafe service don't want to upset people, you're like, you had a rule, you cannot vacuum while someone's sitting down enjoying food.
Oh,
so I'm sitting there with the fucking vacuum, I pull out the vacuum cleaner, I put it down, I'm just like, hint, wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Get the fuck out.
And then you go to vacuum, and you're just like, be vacuuming, and you're like, yeah, it's like always on a Sunday when like big groups are coming for breakfast.
Yeah.
And someone will bring in kids.
Yeah.
And you'd go the whole day because you were run off your feet, fucking doing shit. And then you get there and you get to the table where they were sitting, and you just look, and there's fucking eggs all over the floor, and you're just like,
fuck this shit.
So you're vacuuming it, and you're just like smushing more egg into the carpet. You're just like, I don't want to fix this. Maybe if I just pretend it's not there, it'll go away.
Oh, fucking hell.
And then I went and worked at Bunnings, and I was like, retail, so much better than hospitality. Then I left Bunnings, and I went, university, so much better than hospitality and retail.
Yes.
Then I went back to the cafe, because I was fucking, just needed a part-time job while I was on summer holidays, and Bunnings was shit about that.
Yeah, yeah.
And then I was like in the cafe, and I was like, earning more money, excellent.
Yay.
I'm not gonna lie, like I did not enjoy hospitality as much as like working retail has a completely different thing than hospitality, where you don't end up like feeling like you're covered in crap at the end of a shift. Like,
True.
Where you've been working with food and like greasy shit, and you just feel like you feel coated in it at the end of a shift, and you're just like, fuck me, I want to go have a shower and wash all this crap off me.
I know, I feel like I'm covered in dirt.
But like you don't feel like you're covered in grease and like the splatterings of milk from a coffee machine.
I mean, true, yeah, that's fair.
It's like, I remember one day, because like you take you turn off, once you froth the milk, right, you then give it a tap just to get all the bubbles that are built up down the bottom.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there, and I must have just been super tired, because I go to tap this milk and I just go toomp, and the milk goes and I'm just like, so it's all down my front, it's all over the thing. I'm just like, I don't think I want to make coffees today. So one of my co-workers walked out, I was just like, oh, I'm like, yep. And they're like, just want to stand out the back washing dishes for a bit. I'm like, yes, I do.
Fuck this shit.
So I went out to wash the dishes and just like washed down the front of my shirt as well, because I was like, I don't want to be smelling like milk all day. But yeah, so like that's the like plus side to retail. You never had to deal with that like just feeling you get after like spending a day working in hospitality, where you like feel like all the grease and stuff from like the dirty plates and everything is just caking you.
You do have to deal with the feeling of losing IQ.
Yeah, but that's just dealing with customers, isn't it?
It is. No, and management. Management ain't great either.
Oh well, that I can't help you with that, boy.
No.
Can't help you with that. Sorry, I just had to try.
The only one that can help with that is higher up management.
Oh, they don't want to do that.
That's still management.
They don't want to do that. That's bad for business.
Exactly.
What's good for business? Shut up and work.
Shut up and work. We'll replace you if you leave.
Yeah. Sorry, I will fix this. Because I just realised that it was like rubbing on my shirt, so I was probably got some shitty audio there.
Oh yeah, probably. I think I'm still good.
Yeah, I'm still good. Hopefully it'll buff out.
Buff out damn scratches.
Yeah. No. But then like when I finished working retail and I was like not going back to Bunnings ever again, I was like, I'm so glad to be out of there. Huh?
I don't blame you.
So I went back to working at the cafe, and I was like, yes, I feel like I'm covered in shit, but like my interactions with customers are literally like, what do you want? That'll be this much. Off you go. I don't interact with them anymore, which is great, because like when you're working in retail and your interactions are like hours or weeks long interactions with a customer who just, when they're good, it's great. When they're bad, it's like, oh my god, I have to deal with this customer again.
Yup.
Shit. And like, because of where I worked in Bunnings, like mainly projects is what I was dealing with. I wasn't dealing with like, oh, I just need to fix this one thing. Well, I was dealing with that, but it was like, I just need to fix this one thing. It's like, okay, there you go, off you go. And then you get the grumpy ones, and you're like, there you go, off you go. And then you get the ones that come in and just like, yeah, I'm just like looking at redoing my entire house. Can you help me? It's like, oh, damn it. It's like,
that's what I love. It's like they walk in. It's like, I just want to paint my house. Paint inside, outside, everything. I have no idea what I'm doing. It's like,
look, it's not bad as long as they're open to the advice.
Well, no, you've got to watch out, because it's the information overload that you've got to give them, and then they're going to forget constantly.
It's fine as long as they're open to the advice. Like, because like you can work in parts and be like, okay, let's start by doing the inside of the house.
Yes.
That way we don't have to worry about any information for outside the house. What about for outside? Don't worry about that. We'll start with the inside. The inside's easy.
We'll come back for the outside.
We'll deal with the outside when we get there.
But I live 6 hours away. Oh, fuck.
How often do you come into town? Once a month. Okay, once a month is fine. It'll take you a month to paint the inside of your house.
Yes.
But no, like, I just fucking, I came back, working back in the cafe, and I was just like, as much as I dislike hospitality, I was being paid nicely. Let's say I was being paid nicely.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Like $35 an hour.
Fuck, it'd be nice.
It was nice. Especially Sundays, where I'd work like a 4-hour shift.
Oh.
And it'd be like, oh, Darcy, you're only working 4 hours on Sunday. Is that okay with you? Do you want more? And I'd be like, no, 4 hours is fine. I'm like, that's like fucking $70 an hour.
Yeah, fine, I'll take it.
It's like, I'm not gonna fucking say, oh, you know what, I really want more hours. I'm like, I work 4 hours, I get paid well.
You get paid the same as you did if you worked 8 through the week.
I'm like, yes, I will do that. Thank you very much. I'm off. Thank you. Bye. Thank you. Bye.
Fuck you all, bye.
It's like, I got to one point where I was like working a 4-hour shift on Sunday, and it's like, oh, Darcy, what are you doing this week? I'm like, oh, nothing. Oh, we're going to give you a couple extra shifts. I'm like, oh, but I made my like $400 this week. I worked Sunday. And then like you work 2 other days, and you're like, okay, this is $1,000 a week. That's not bad.
Yeah, okay, that's not bad.
Oh, I also enjoyed when I was baking there, because it was like you come in on a Friday night, don't have to deal with customers, listen to the radio, and just make food. Generally bread, because it was baking, but I also made pies occasionally. And it was like the funniest thing, like the first time I ever made pies, like the next day, they're like, oh, the pies you made were really good, like really good. What did you do? And I'm like, I followed David's instructions exactly. And they're like, oh, okay. And they're like, so David, what did you tell him to do? It's like, I just told him to do what we always do. It's like, oh, the pies tasted really nice. And I was like, so what did you do? I'm like, I just did exactly what David said, nothing else, because I was nervous as fuck. Like, I'm making like 8 fucking trays of pies. It's like a week's worth supply, and I'm just like, don't fuck up. Do not want to be doing this again.
Yeah, no. That's fair.
Yeah, fucking.
Otherwise you'd have to work another night.
But
So what time did you normally finish?
like 1 in the morning.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
So like 5.
It's like every time I've driven past a bakery, people turn around and it's like, why are they, what are they doing? It's like baking. It's like
making the bread.
It's like they're baking. It's like, yeah, but why are they doing it now? It's like, you think they're going to do it through the fucking day?
Well, see, the thing was, like, because we'd bake every night.
Yeah.
Except Sunday night.
Oh, that's fair.
So you'd bake every night, and you generally, like, depending on what needs to be done, because you're only making bread for the next day. So the orders that need to go out, plus the normal load. Because, like, we'd be like,
makes sense.
We need this many of this loaf. So you'd only make that many of that loaf, because, like, something that you don't sell. And it's like, okay, so how many white bread loaves are we going to make? It's like, oh yeah, we'll make like 75. So we make 75, because that's like, fills all our orders and has enough to sell to people the next day.
Yeah.
But yeah, there were some days, like, I remember one day walking in and Dave was just like, this is going to be bad. And I'm like, why? And I'd worked the day before and done some orders. And I was like, oh wait, no, I remember I took some of those orders. And he's like, we had something like 300 bread rolls to make, 200 loaves of white bread, because it was like the races or something was happening, like an event, and they were just like, we need this, and I was just like, fuck. And we're just like making all this bread, and like at one point they was like, okay, we have to stop for at least 10 minutes, and I'm like, okay, why? Because he was the baker, I was just his helper, and he's just like, we have no more room to put anything. And I was like, oh right, and I'm like looking around because all the benches have just got bread on it, like proofing bread loaves sitting there, and like we're just like, oh yeah, I'm like, oh yeah, right, yeah, we stop.
Yes.
So like standing there, we're checking the bread, making sure everything's going good, making sure the oven's is fucking running properly, because we're just like, this is going to be hard, and I was like, oh fuck. And like, I guarantee you, I burnt myself every single time I was baking, because like at one point it's like you just got the little fucking oven mitts on. It's like, okay, grab the bread out of the thing. You just like because you want to get it all out as well as possible, because you don't want any of it to fucking burn. Yeah. And you've got like 6 ovens just full of it, and you're just like, and then you're like flipping lids and stuff, and everything's super hot. And then at one point you just forget, and you lean on something and go, you look, and you've got like this nice little burn on your arm. You're just like, fuck. And it was like the first time that happened, I was like, fuck. And it's like, run under water, you'll get over it. I'm like, how'd you know? And he's like, it's the first time baking. It's your first baker's burn. He's like, you get them all the fucking time. And I was just like, how did you know exactly from our area? He's just like, it's the reaction we all have when it happens. and you just fuck. And then something else happened. I can't even remember what it was, but I ended up like grabbing this super hot loaf of bread with just my bare hands. I was like, it was the stupidest thing I've ever done. Like, I think I was just trying to chuck it from the hot tin onto a rack. I grabbed it and I turned to the rack and then I like look and the rack is full and I'm just like, I'm like, wait, put it down. And I'm like looking and there's like baking trays everywhere. I'm just like, I don't want to put it on something that's like covered in baking shit. And I'm just like, where to put this? Chucked it on top of the thing. I'm just like, oh. And he's like, how long were you holding that for? Like a minute and a half. He's like, oh man, that would suck.
It would have.
I was like, yes, it did.
Yeah.
But yeah,
fuck.
I will say, eventually I got like to a point where I was like, you know, because like when you're working with a tray that's like this wide, about yay long, and just covered in bread, you're like, yeah, bread doesn't weigh much, and you pull that out and you're like, it's super hot. I can only hold it with these little mitts I've got, so I can't like lean anything against it. You're just like, come on, thumbs, don't fail me now.
Yep.
Because like you go like, it's not that heavy.
It's not that heavy, but it's super heavy for your thumbs.
Well, it becomes heavy because once it's laden down and just like leave it out in front of you, like all the weight's here, and you're just like, come on, and you can only hold it with your hands. And so like eventually I got into a thing where I could like slide it out onto the oven mitt and be like, yes, into the next thing. But like the first couple of weeks that I was doing, I was just like, thumbs. I really enjoyed baking. Like, it was good fun. It was a good experience.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I'm not upset that I'm no longer baking. Like, that's not something that brings me down. I'm like, oh, I wish I was a baker again. But I enjoyed it. Very maths heavy, and I've forgotten a lot of it.
Fair.
But it was fun. It was a good night. You know, it's just good way to spend a Friday night. You just be like, and being like, I'm getting paid a fuck ton of money to do this.
That's right, because it's after 6 and then after 11.
Yes. Yeah. I had one of like a 7-hour shift. 1 hour was before 6.
Oof. Yeah. That's a good shift.
Yeah. And when it was a big day, it's like it'll probably be a 10-hour bake, even for the both of us. Because like the whole reason they put me in there was so that David wasn't having to do like 12-hour bakes and shit like that. Because that's rough.
Fair. Yeah.
So like while he was doing like the artisan breads, I'd just be there like making scones and being like scones and cheesecakes. Making a lot of cheesecakes. I made so many cheesecakes and scones. I made so many cheesecake and scones. I was a scone boy. And then I remember one day, it was the worst day ever because they'd fucked up the roster and they'd put me on for like 8 o'clock starting the day after I baked. Oh. So I'm like walking in and I was like, oh, hey Darcy, how you feeling? I'm like, fucked. They're like, what? I'm like, we didn't finish till like 1:30 last night. And they're like, oh shit, you were baking last night, weren't you? I was like, mm-hmm. And they're like, oh fuck. I'm like, at least my scones turned out okay. They're like, yeah, they're really good. I'm like, yeah, I won't be here.
Can I go home now, please?
Like, don't worry, we'll put you on something easy. You can just slice bread all day. I'm like, oh great, so I baked it all last night and I just sliced it all today. I'm just like standing there, slicing the bread.
Oh, that would have fucking...
I cooked the night before. Then I go, and then they're like, okay, you can go home now. It's quiet enough. We don't need you anymore. I'm like, yay.
Yeah. Sleep. Finally.
It was very fun. I just loved it. I loved it. It was good fun.
That sounds alright. Oh, still don't want to go into hospitality though.
Dude, as I said, like, if you gotta go into hospitality, because I was the only one of the boys, because there were 3 of us, I was the only one that did the cafe side of things.
Okay.
The other 2 were both bakers, although young Cam had to be there earlier, because he would do, like, all the sweets and stuff.
Yeah.
And then David was the bread baker, and he'd come in after him. But when we were, like, when all 3 of us were there baking, I was like, we're getting paid to work in a cafe, but we don't have to serve any customers. We don't have to clean up any dishes other than the ones that we use, and we're using like industrial dishes. We're not using like plates and cups and shit. We're using like giant metal bowls and shit where it's like, put it in, chuck it in the fucking thing.
Yeah.
I was like, this is great. I'm like, I can understand why people become bakers, because it's like, yeah. I work crazy hours. Like, my hours are not normal. But true. I don't have to deal with customers.
That's true. It's true.
I don't have to deal with the people that that actually buy what I make.
Yeah, that is true. Well, you did, but
yeah, well, I occasionally did.
Yes. But otherwise, not a bad run with that one.
Oh,
that's actually pretty good.
You get to work in the hospitality industry, making hospitality wages without actually being hospitable.
Wait, aren't they always considered to be shit wages?
Not in Australia.
Oh. I always thought they were shit.
Generally, in pop culture stuff, we hear about hospitality having shit wages because Americans have shit wages because they're done with tips.
Oh no, I knew that.
In Australia, the wages are pretty good and become better. Like, okay, you're probably not earning great money if you're working at McDonald's.
Oh yeah, I knew that.
But if you're working for like a restaurant or something, you can be earning pretty good.
Yeah.
Like if you're working for a sole trader, you're pretty much earning pretty good. Like kind of like the bigger corporation you work for, the shittier your wages become in hospitality. However, on the flip side of that, the second you have to deal with anything alcohol related, they go back up.
True.
And because my boss owned a business that also sold alcohol under the same name, because he had two shops.
Oh, yeah.
He had the one where I worked, which was just the cafe and bakery.
Yeah.
Then he had the other one, which was like the cafe, more restaurant-y.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
So I think at one point he just started paying everyone what you pay for people who have to deal with alcohol.
That's pretty good.
Because it was just like, it's easier on my books.
Yeah, you can't be bothered to add more.
It's easier on my books, and it means that I don't have to do any crazy shit when these people need to borrow one of these people.
True.
Or one of these people goes over here for a bit. It's like, you can just, you get paid the same wage. But yeah, so like it can, I think a lot of that comes from the fact that a lot of people we know that work in hospitality or have worked in hospitality work for big corporations.
Probably.
And big corporations have big corporate lawyers, and big corporate lawyers know how to pay minimum wage to people because so that the shareholders can make the most amount of money.
True.
If you don't have big corporate lawyers, you're generally stuck paying people a fair wage.
Yeah,
which no one should ever feel stuck with having to do.
Yes.
Oh man, I'm stuck. Why? I've got to pay these people for the work they're doing fairly. Finally, I was a big company and had good lawyers, so I could get away with paying them less.
I know, right? Fucking hell.
That being said, I don't even think McDonald's employees and like Hungry Jack's employees actually earn that bad of a wage.
I don't think it's bad anymore.
No, I think it used to be terrible.
I know a mate who used to work at Red Rooster. He was a manager.
Yeah.
That earned less than I do.
Yeah, well, there you go.
It's like, yeah, no. Because he told me what he was on. I'm like,
trying to not
what?
get sued.
Yeah.
When I say allegedly, don't sue me, bro.
Oh, yeah, fair. No, but he told me what
lawyers, mate.
It's true. He told me what he earned. I'm like, wait, what? He's like, yeah, no, that's what I earned. I'm like,
That being said, though, as shit as Bunnings is,
I was earning like $5 an hour more than him.
Yeah, but they kind of they pay more than the standard retailers.
I know they
so
do.
It's like it's to be like, oh yeah, you earn shit in hospitality because I'm earning less than like one of the best paid retail jobs. It's like, yeah, but that's the best paid retail, not the rest.
True.
But yeah, no, it kind of comes down to, I think a lot of places are getting better now, mainly because
I believe so.
they have to, but at the same time, it's also getting worse because, well, the price of living is outgoing the increase in wages.
Yes.
But,
it is.
yeah, no, like, a lot of people take hospitality second jobs, like working in a bar or something, because the money, I think on average, if you work in a bar or you work with alcohol in hospitality, like not retail, I think it's like the minimum wage is somewhere up near like $32.
Pretty good.
Yeah. Now, I say now.
Yeah.
That may have changed, but like back when I knew a lot of people working in bars, yeah, they were earning at like pints an hour. And
yeah, that's good.
Those, like, went up. One of my mates worked in a bar, one of them worked in a bottle-o. Like, the guy in the bottle-o earned like 25 an hour. The guy literally working on the other side of the wall in the bar in the same place was earning like 30, and I was like, move to the bar. He's like,
yeah.
I don't want to move to the bar. I'm like, why? He's like, I have to deal with drunk people. I'm like, you have to deal with drunk people anyway. He's like, yes, but I don't have to give them their drinks. They have to buy it and then leave. They're not allowed to drink on the premise.
That's true.
I'm like, oh, that's smart.
Yeah, it is.
Huh. You don't say. It's like, oh, again, it comes down to that retail. My service is, oh, you want to buy that? There you go. Off you go. Would you like me to put that in a brown paper bag so you can drink it on the way up the street? Yes, thank you.
Yeah. I got asked that once, like, just a bottle of fucking whiskey. It's like, in a brown paper bag? It's like,
it's because you're not really supposed to carry alcohol.
It's true.
Like, I don't know if it's illegal. It's definitely like a faux pas to be seen carrying alcohol. Even if it is like a $300 bottle of whiskey, and it's like, no, I'm not going to the park to drink this. This is really good. And it's like, alcoholic.
So I'm taking this to my car and going home.
Which is really funny because the bottle-o and the pub that they worked at was at the end of the street we lived on.
Yeah.
With the college. And we would walk past it like twice a week with just like open bottles of beer and shit as we're like walking past and screaming at people and shit like that.
See, that's the one that you're not allowed to do.
That's the one you're
open
not allowed
alcohol.
To. However, cops are generally pretty cool with it if you're in Sydney at least.
Yeah.
I remember one day we got caught at the beach and we're having a barbecue there, so we had a few brewskis, cooking up the barbecue, using it on youngins except for Keebs, because we're like, Keeb cannot have alcohol for his religious beliefs. So we're like, okay, everyone else is onion, Rakib's onion. And you keep the spatula there and you're like, don't worry, Rakib, we've got you covered. Like, you just bought like half a beer on that barbecue. I'm like, yes. Yes, we did.
Alright, we've separated yours.
It's like, don't worry, this isn't my beer. Whose beer is it? It's Jack's beer. Wait, where's your beer? Right here.
I'm smart about this.
Then Jack looks back and goes, where's my beer? And you're like, onions, man. He goes, yeah, onions.
That's fair.
Anyway, so we're at the beach, cooking up, having a barbecue.
Yeah.
And we've got like this case of beers that we'd won for doing something. Can't remember what we won, but the price of a case of beer. So like, case of beer between a floor generally works out to like one beer each.
Yeah.
But we had a bunch of guys on our floor who didn't drink, so we're like, okay, so that works out for the ones of us who do drink about 3 beers each. So we're like, this is a good reward.
Yes.
I think we'd always like do something else for like the guys that didn't drink. We'd just be like, oh yeah, okay, let's buy them something. Like we'd buy them like a carton of Coke and like a cake or something. They're like,
yeah,
that's for you guys. And they're like, why? And it's like, because thanks to your sacrifice, there is more beer for us.
And this is still cheaper than if we had have gotten our own case.
Oh yeah. This is much cheaper than another case of beer. But yeah, so like we're at the beach, cracked a few bottles, cooking up a barbecue, and these cops walk past and like, boys. I'm like, oh fuck, it's the cops. Or if we were in British, it's the Rosses. No. He's like, oh no, it's the cops. I'm like, we're pretty sure we're not doing. We're a bit rowdy, but we're not doing anything wrong. They're like, guys, this is a dry beach. And we're like, why is that a thing?
God damn it!
And then we looked around. There's like 7 pubs, and we're like, oh, that's why it's a thing.
Because there's 7 pubs around here.
Like, they want to make money, so there you go. Like, we want this beach to be dry. Why? Because then if people want to drink on the beach, they've got to come to us. Yes. Anyway, and the cops are like, boys, this is a dry beach, and we're like all standing there with like open bottles. They're like, finish up those bottles, don't open any more. I'm like, okay. And the cops walked off, and we're like, I think it was like 3 of us. I think it was, 3 of us, probably. Or maybe 4, maybe Dookie was up at that point. But me, Jack, and Nick are just kind of sitting there, and I'm like, I've only got like a sip left in my beer. And Nick's like the same. I'm like, what if we just open another beer and pretend? He's just like, yes. So we just like walk back. And, like the cops are halfway up the street. We like walk back to the thing and just like, boop, boop. And they're just like, get rid of our bottles. So then we're just standing there. The cops walk back and we've got full bottles of beer. And they're just like, boys, we said not to open anymore. We're like, we didn't. We might have. And they're like, just don't do it again. And we're like, we'll probably be finished before we finish these beers. And they're like, okay, just don't do it again. And then, like, from a sporting event, I remember walking back because, like, we'd always have beers at the sporting events.
Of course.
But we were on university grounds when we were at the sporting events. But then we'd have to walk from the sports field back to the uni.
Yeah.
To the streets. But, you know, you bought 2 beers and then the game ended and you're sitting there with 2 beers in your hand and you're like, everyone's going and you don't want to sit there by yourself like a loser. So you just walk down the street with 2 beers in your hand, swigging. And the cop sees you and goes, those open bottles, you're like, yes. He's like, God damn it. Don't do it again. And you're like, oh, okay. And like a week later, you're doing it again.
Sounds about right.
And there's like, just why? You know you're not allowed to. It's like, yes, but I had already opened them before I left where I was, and they're pretty full. And like, I knew some people who were like, oh yeah, the cops caught me with an open bottle and they made me pour it out. And I'm like, oh, that's rough. Like, the cops caught me with 2 open bottles and were like, just don't do it again. I was like, okay.
Oh man, that is funny.
But as I said, like, you know, it was their discretion because they were kind of like, you're in a giant group of people. The chances that you're going to start glassing some motherfucker, and also you're not drunk. You're just in a group of people, and you've had like 2 beers.
Yeah.
It's like, you're not a risk. You're not one of these people who's like, this is my 10th bottle, and fuck you, I'm glassing you. Yeah. I'm like, so like that, you know, a bit of discretion. And the guys that I know who got forced to pour it out, I was like, pissed myself laughing because I'm like, you guys are like the squarest people I know.
It's not good.
I was just like, how did you get caught with an open bottle of beer? Because first of all, the likelihood of you doing that is so nil. And they're like, oh well, we're at a party, and he's like, and I thought I'd finished my beer, but I hadn't, so I kind of picked it up as we were leaving. And he's like, and I walked out, and I'm like, oh, there's still half of this in. So he's like, I was just walking back drinking it, and there's like I ran into these 2 cops, and the female cop was just like, is that an open bottle? And he's like, yeah. And she's like, you're not allowed to have open bottles. And I was like, yep, you gotta get rid of it. And then he's just like, it's only like 4 or 5 mouthfuls left, and they're like, get rid of it. And he's like, fine. And just pours it into a bin. It's like, fuck, man, that sucks.
It does. It fucking does.
Like, every time we've run into cops with an open bottle, and they're like, look at us, they're like, how much is in there? And you're like, I just opened it, and they're like, don't do it again. Like,
okay. I literally know
a mouthful. Get the fuck. We don't want that on the street. How much? Oh, this is a fully fresh bottle. Yeah, we'll allow it. Just this once.
Don't do it again.
Yeah, don't do it
Until we see you again next week. In which case, don't do it again.
Well, the beautiful thing about living in a city is you're very unlikely to run into the same cop twice.
True.
Mind you, we did learn a few of the cops' names, but mainly because, like, we do a scavenger hunt every year, and like always, without a doubt, one of them was like get someone to sign, like to write their signature on you. And so like you're walking around at like fucking 11:30 at night in the city on a weekend. The most notable person you're going to run into to get a signature from is a cop, because they're like out on patrol trying to get the drunk. So you just like walk up and be like, hey, can you just sign my arm, my back, my chest, anything? And they're just like, what are you doing? Scavenger hunt? Okay.
Okay.
You just do not lick their fucking cars, because then they look at you and go, you're drunk. That happened. One of our first years licked a police car, and I was just like, oh, that's so stupid.
Why'd you lick the police car?
Well, that was the thing, because it was like, lick a car. And they're like, okay, yeah, lick the police car. And we're like, oh,
dumbass.
Why'd he lick a police car? It's like, oh, he thought it would be funny. I'm like, how funny is it now? He's in custody. Mind you, I have this, I would love to show you, because it's like one of the funniest videos I was ever sent, but I don't know which phone it's on. And I've had like 3 phones since then.
Yep.
4 phones since then.
Fuck.
But it's just this video of some of my first years go into this shop and they're like, give me this phone call. I'm like, what's going on? They're like, Darcy, we're in a shop. I'm like, yep. And they're like, we've got this idea for a video. I'm like, right, what is it? And they're like, oh, we're going to do some Harry Potter Quidditch in the middle of Sydney. And I'm like, okay. They're like, yeah, we're in this shop and they've got brooms. So we're just going to grab some and go. I'm like, okay, yeah, that sounds good. Later on, I get another phone call. Yeah, so we've grabbed the brooms. I'm like, okay, yeah. I'm like, did you get the receipt so that, we can kind of split the cost between everyone on the floor? They're like, oh, no. We were at the shop and they just had like a janitor's cupboard open, so we just grabbed them out of there. I'm like, oh!
Fucking dumbasses.
And then, so I get this video of them like playing Quidditch in the middle of like this crowded street, like running around on brooms and shit. And I'm like, okay, that's classic, boys. And then about 2 hours later, I get this other video, and this was just the funniest video I've ever seen. I was just like, oh my god, if only like there was just a section that was like, send in the best video.
Yeah.
Because it's just one of my first years, and it's about 11 o'clock on Sydney, so there's still traffic, but it's not as, he's in like one of the back roads, so it's not like a constant stream like it generally is. And he's got one of these brooms that they took from a Chinese convenience store. And he's standing on the side of the road with this broom over his shoulder, and then you see these headlights coming towards him. He steps out into the road, holds up his hand, the car stops, and he just starts sweeping the road in front of him. Steps back, waves them past, and they drive off. And then the next car's coming up, and he stops, sweeps the road in front of him. And like, there must have been 2 cars, because there's these 2, like, you can see there's 2 cars clearly in the video. So he stops them both, sweeps the road in front of him, steps back, the first car goes, the second one starts to go, and I'm just like, oh my god. I'm like, fucking, that is a brilliant video.
It's fucking great.
I'm like, of all the things that happened tonight, and there was some crazy shit that happened that night, I was like, this is my favorite thing, because the people in the cars are just like, but they're not honking, they're not angry, they're just kind of like sitting there like, the fuck is going on?
They're just sweeping the road.
She's not in high vis or anything, so they're just accepting me, like this guy is standing on the side of the street being like, oh, stop, I gotta sweep the road. Okay, you're good to go. No, stop, you made it dirty. And I just get this video and I'm just like, oh boys, that's priceless.
It's fucking gold.
There was like a few of ours, because like, another one of our videos was like me and Dookie fucking sprinting through the university campus, because it was like, get a photo with a professor. I'm like, oh, there's usually some professors working late with in the architecture section, so we'd gone there and we couldn't find anyone. I'm just like, fuck, what are we gonna do? So walking past, and like we see the light on in the classroom, we're just like, there's students in there. So we run into the law library, up the stairs, like get to the thing, knock on the door. They look, we kind of opened up and we're just like, hey, how's it going, everyone? And it's like all of these like foreign students, because it was obviously like a steps class or something, like moving through. And like there's this guy at the front of the class and he's like, hey boys, what's going on? Like, obviously knows we're not supposed to be there.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, hi. And I'm like walking to the room with my hand extended and like giving him a handshake. And I was like, are you a professor here? And he's like, oh, I'm not technically a professor. I'm like, that's close enough. From my handshake, grab his hand, spin him around, stand there with the camera, gets a photo of me and him, spin him back, I'm like, thank you, and we spread out as all these kids start pissing themselves laughing. We're just like, okay, what's next on our agenda? Get chased by security on it. So we'd been like doing that shit all night, because I was like, we'd always split into like 3 groups, and it's like, one group goes straight into the city, one group does the on-campus stuff, one group does the near-campus stuff, and then into the city. So all 3 end up in the city. But you do the things, and so like all the seniors are like, we'll do the on-campus stuff.
Yep.
Because we're less likely to get fucking in massive trouble from the university, because first years do stupid things.
They do.
Like steal fire extinguishers.
Fucking idiots.
Yeah, and then run down fucking uni walk blasting fire extinguishers.
Oh,
and it's like, funny. Very funny.
Yes. Also very stupid.
University can expel you for that.
Yes.
It's like,
yes, they can.
So seniors would always be like, we'll do the university stuff. Why? Because we're less likely to do something to get expelled.
Yes.
I was like, oh, but the university has no sense of humour. Remember that. University, no sense of humour.
Yes.
It is a corporate body. No sense of humour. do not do anything stupid on its campus, it will expel you.
Yes.
But they come for you hard. No, it was like, a few people I knew were like threatened to be expelled because they did a prank, and I was just like, and like, fortunately, no names ever came forward. Like, we knew who they were.
Well, yes.
Because they told us, and then about 2 days later, the university was like, we're looking for the people that did this. They will be expelled, and we were just like, ooh. And like, the prank was they killed a bit of grass.
Yep.
In the shape of a penis.
Of course.
But yeah, we were just like, usually people were just like, oh, okay, fuck. We're a place full of 17 to 25-year-olds.
Yep.
We are going to have this kind of shit. But the university was like, we find out who did this, they're expelled. And we're just like, fuck. No names ever came forward, so no one was expelled. But we were just like, yeah, we should keep first years, especially on a night like Scab Hunt, when things can get a little bit crazy, away from the institute that can be like, oh, you did this? Fucking go.
Pretty much.
Like, keep that on the down low. Yeah. So yeah, seniors in general. But yeah, it was a great night. Like, Scab Hunt was always a great night. And you do this fucking stupid shit. That's the favorite thing. Just this poor guy's face, because it's like me, like, looking like this, and he's just like, mind you, like, I'm not a small man, and this guy was, so I was like, full manhandling, but it was hilarious.
Yes, it would have been.
But yeah, we were just like, no, keep the juniors off, keep the young kids off campus. Yes. That way no one gets expelled, especially when you got to get chased by security, because you've got to do that in a really clever way to not get in any trouble. The way we preferred was that we'd block in the security's car with like roadblocks.
Yeah.
And then when they got out and moved the roadblocks and then drove away slowly, we would just walk slowly in front and then speed up the footage. Because security never chased us. No matter what we did. I think one year they actually did like go like, hey boys, you got your IDs on you? And we're like, nope, we gotta go catch a bus now, bye. Like, they weren't even chasing us, they were just like, after like, what do? We blocked in his car, we then stood behind his car while he tried to reverse and he just stopped. We then slowly walked in front of his car, and I think eventually one of us just sat on the hood of his car. And that's led him to be like, do you boys have ID on you? Where it's like, no.
Oh shit!
It was just like, is he like? Because then we're like, no, we've got a bus to catch, and we're like heading off into the city. I think we had nigger running, and I'm just like, is he chasing us? He's like, no. I was like, fucking hell! What are we gonna do to get these fucking guys to chase us? And then we made friends with them, so we're just like, hey, can you do us a favor? What? Can you just run past this guy holding a camera after me for a second? Scab Hunt again, isn't it? Yeah, it is.
Yeah, come on, let's do it. Come on.
But no, that was my life in Sydney.
Always fun.
Yes. No, it was good fun. It was great fun.
Oh yes.
The people. It's the people, mate. The people make a place. And when your people are stealing brooms off Chinese convenience, it's just the funniest thing, because like, oh yeah, we got some brooms. Oh sweet, yeah, do it. Sounds pretty funny. Yeah. Run through the crowd with pretending you're flying on broomsticks. It'll be great. Just get a receipt. Oh, no, I don't need a receipt. Why? Oh yeah, we just took them. Just fucking took them from a clean cupboard. It's like, okay, well technically that's theft, but I think we can handle like $5 worth of brooms. It was just the funniest thing, because like other groups had spent like up to $50 each, because we had to do things like, at one point we needed exactly $1 worth of bacon. So me and my group went into Woolies, because Sydney has 24-hour Woolies, which is brilliant.
Yes.
So we went into Woolies and we went up to the second floor where the deli was, and this girl would like stand there and we're like, can we get like exactly $1 worth of bacon? She's like, probably be easier if I did it in the diced bacon. We're like, doesn't matter.
It's just got to be bacon.
And she's like, okay. And she does it, so we get that, and then we leave. And then we left it on a train. So we had to go back.
Oh.
We walked back in and we're like, so can we get another $1 worth of bacon? She's like, okay. And then this time, because she was like, I've got to go grab more bacon from out the back then. And we're like, that's fine. And so, because that was taking some time, me and someone else went up to the next floor, which was where all the toys were. And we just got some lightsaber toys, started fighting on the escalators. Because it was 10:30 at night in a Woolies that had 4 people in it. So just on the escalators, he's coming up, I'm going down, we're just then we'd swap it in. We're just and then the other person came back, I got the bacon, we're like, awesome. Then we left it on a different train. So we went back.
Jesus Christ. You spent $3.
Can we have some more bacon? It's just what are you guys doing with bacon? We're leaving it on trains, apparently. So I spent $10 on bacon.
Oh, you did it 10 times.
Yeah, and then we bought a bunch of rubber ducks as well, just so we could leave rubber ducks places. That wasn't part of the scavenger hunt. That was just because there were rubber ducks in Woolies, and it was our 5th time back there.
Yeah, may as well.
We're just this way we know where we've been.
Hey, we were there.
Did we leave bacon there?
Hey, we did.
Fuck. No, it was a good time. Good time.
What have
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I've been reminiscing. You got anything to add, Kris?
No, I don't have anything that exciting. Yeah.
It's a boring life here in Rockhampton.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, in that case, guys, thanks for joining us. As always, I've been Darcy, joined by Aunt Kris. Oh, hey, no, that's not right. Aunt Chrissy. And if you liked it, consider liking, subscribing, all that good jazz, and we will catch you next time. See ya.
See ya.